The Chief Constable has defended his decision to deploy specialist forces here to help in the fight against dissident Republicans.
The SDLP and Sinn Fein are furious they were not informed in advance of the move. But Sir Hugh says he was not required to tell the policing board. Now Donnelly's been following developments.
Had he chosen to, the Chief Constable could have told the policing board members at yesterday's meeting about the deployment of what he describes as a handful of army technical experts to help fight the increased dissident threat. He didn't. When news of the deployment broke, Sinn Fein and the SDLP were furious, accusing the Chief Constable of a serious breach of trust. Some in Sinn Fein were even privately briefing that Ord would have to go.
He is fully aware that I consider yesterday and the way in which this announcement has been made as a serious breach in confidence. But we'll work that out with the Chief Constable, and I'm not calling on him to resign. He knows my position, he knows how serious a matter we consider this to be, and we will have further discussions on this issue.
Sir Hugh is adamant he needs the extra personnel.
What I do have are a tiny number of specialists who give me additional technical capacity and bomb disposal capacity to enable my officers to go around policing the community in the way the community wants to be policed. Without that technical expertise and without that back office function, it'd be more difficult to provide the normal policing service mindful of the threat.
I asked Sir Hugh why he didn't tell board members what was happening.
Well, frankly, A, it wasn't news at that point, and B, it's not necessary. I am responsible for operational policing. I have kept the board totally up to speed on the threat, which is absolutely my responsibility, and if they want some particular issues examined, I'm always welcome, always willing to come and speak to them, and again, I'm more than willing to come and see them next week.
The SDLP were first to beat a path to Sir Hugh's office this morning, demanding answers.
The British government have to come clean. They did not tell the SDLP and the people of Northern Ireland that special forces might be deployed. And they have to also explain who is running the place. Is it the police or is it MI5?
Unionists have supported Sir Hugh's right to make operational decisions without seeking the policing board's approval.
But what I think people will be concerned about is this attempt by Republicans and Sinn Féin to say that this shouldn't be happening. At a time of increased threat from terrorists, it is absolutely right that this extra help be brought in to help combat terrorism.
This whole issue has caused something of a political storm. The Chief Constable may be questioned further about it at a policing board policy committee next week. Niall Donnelly, UTV Live at police headquarters.
So who are these specialist forces and what exactly does MI5 do here? Sharon O'Neill takes a look.
Despite the end of the Troubles, MI5's presence here is bigger than ever. Its £20 million headquarters in Hollywood is part of a UK network. Hundreds of people work here in the fight against terrorism. Not local terrorism, but the threat from groups such as Al-Qaeda. Only 15% of MI5's work is focused on dissident Republicans, but that threat has risen dramatically over recent months. So much so that Chief Constable Hugh Ord asked MI5 for an elite team of undercover soldiers. Nationalist members of the policing board are furious he didn't tell them. But he doesn't have to. He still has operational control. So this row in the main is all about trust and transparency.
Well, he's got a responsibility first and foremost to life and limb and security, and he'll use whatever assets are available like any other Chief Constable. And if he has received intelligence, which I presume he has, that he has a specific threat to deal with and these people will help, he will ask for them, and he'll ask for them at any time that he wants, because only he knows the full picture.
What is the role of MI5 now in Northern Ireland? In October 2007, responsibility for national security intelligence was transferred from the PSNI to MI5. But at St Andrews, a deal was struck with all the parties on the sharing of intelligence.
Our role is to make sure that the parameters are set properly, that the protocols are set up about the relationship between the PSNI and the National Security Services, and then to ensure that if anything goes wrong, if there is a major terrorist outrage or something else, that we can then ask the Chief Constable, what steps did you take? Only at that stage do we become involved.
If police and injustice powers are transferred to Stormont, Alliance leader David Ford could become that minister. He believes Sir Hugh did the right thing.
If there's a case that they need a little bit of help with intelligence and that sort of issue, I think we need that. I'd sooner see that than see something like the Castlewell and Car bomb actually succeed.
This is really about what Sir Hugh can or wants to tell the policing board about his operations. Nationalist politicians are livid, and it may make it more difficult for them to sell policing to their community. Sharon O'Neill, UTV Live.